The day of my closing, I hated the first home that I was buying. I was miserable. At my closing, I learned that, well, let me back up, in less than 30 minutes, I had buyer's remorse over the home that I had spent 4 long months driving up and down streets searching for. It wasn't because I hadn't done the research on the neighborhood. It wasn't because it was a bad price or needed a lot of work. And it wasn't because the property inspection found things wrong with the home. I hated my first home and had buyer's remorse before the ink was dry on the closing papers, because despite all of my research and questions that I asked my mortgage broker, I found out at closing that my loan had turned into an unwanted and unexpected arm, and I didn't know that I could walk out. I was miserable. After feeling like I signed away my freedom, in tears, I called my grandfather and slowly began to realize all the right questions that I had missed and should have asked before purchasing a new home. All big investments are the same, whether buying a new home or finding the right countertop and fabricator. We spend a lot of time researching, narrowing down options, and trying to make the best decision and hopefully not finding out things we didn't know later. I am Neneh Biffinger, a market rep with Cambria Services. In Denver, Colorado, in the many years that I have been in the design and building world and industry, I have seen a lot of options for surfaces. I have heard a lot of recurring questions, and I've also helped and guided different specifiers and end users and their countertop selection processes. That you need to do a lot of research during your selection process. The more information that you and your client have before selecting the right countertop, the more your satisfaction increases, the more buyer's remorse and unhappiness decreases, and the more dollars can be saved. For all of these reasons, it is beneficial to not just ask questions, but to ask the right questions, which we will uncover in countertops and the questions you did not know you needed to ask. I have provided y'all with handouts that have the main questions so that you can follow along and take care of notes as you need to. Today is all about countertops, how to distinguish the different attributes of countertop materials, how to qualify fabricators, and how to guide your clients in the right decision for the countertops. Today's countertops, they play a demanding role, whether it be as a showpiece or a functional workhorse. They are expected to be aesthetic, durable, low maintenance, and economic, right? It is no wonder and no surprise that it is a daunting task to find a countertop that you want. On the economic expectation, if price is you or your client's normal motivator, today we're going to look at the importance of looking at other topics, considering the whole picture, and weighing your pros and cons to find the best investment for the countertop. My goal is to keep y'all interested and awake, and to help you with your goals. At the end of this course, you'll be able to describe key attributes of countertop options. You'll be able to determine key questions to ask manufacturers and suppliers, to qualify the fabricators and installers, and to help guide your clients in their countertop selections. Because they go hand in hand, let's just dive into the first 2 objectives: describing key attributes of select countertop materials and the questions to ask about products. Oh my goodness, while calculating the different material options, I lost count after 16. Then when you add in all the subcategories of stones, woods, solid surfaces, etc., it can become overwhelming. There are a lot of options out there. Would y'all agree? A lot of options? Yes. NKBA's 2015 stats showed the top 3 as marble, granite, and quartz to be the countertops most specified by kitchen designers. In Colorado, granite was the most popular. Over the past several years, I've seen quartz increasing in popularity and granite falling further behind. while quartzite is becoming more popular. You may notice different ones that are more popular in your region, more asked for. The point is to focus on those ones that are the most popular and most requested in your region and where your clients are based. Then look at the key aspects for the different materials. Those key aspects that are important to you will vary and adjust as you begin to ask more questions and as you become more familiar and gain more experience specifying different types of materials. It does become cyclical. What is important to your client affects the questions you ask the fabricator. Your relationship with the fabricator affects what questions you ask about the product. What you learn about the product changes how you help direct your client in their selection process. These are the fundamental topics when looking at different countertop materials. Each one has multiple questions to dig deeper into them. As when you're trying to decide which material to use, you're going to decide and choose which key aspects are more important to you and your client. For example, source. This has multiple things that to be considered. You have location, whether you're considering it an import or local. If and where it's mined or manufactured. The ingredients. All of these have an impact on sustainability and environmentalism. Those will be important to your environmental clients. So the aspects are going to vary and change depending on who your client is and what their preferences are. There is not a perfect countertop to fit every end user's needs. There is going to be variance. Getting to know the materials starts by asking specific questions, then weighing those pros and cons to better educate your clients on which options they should choose. The importance of these questions, again, will fluctuate as you dive in and start asking more questions and as your clients, your location, and your interests change. We sell and spotlight what we are passionate about. So if there's a topic that is more important to you, you will naturally focus on it and focus on that with your client. We're going to explore the 4 topics that I receive the most questions and comments about. That's going to be quality, maintenance, design, and price. Quality is an important aspect to consider. Affected by the ingredients and the construction, quality will range from one manufacturer to another and within a specific material. For example, grades of marbles and granites. The quality in turn impacts the durability. It affects the durability and the porosity, which also influences applications and the value of the countertop. The first thing you want to find out is what the ingredients are. The original answer you receive will probably be a pretty vague description. It's recommended to go deeper in each type. When you are evaluating a material, ask the specific manufacturers and suppliers what the ingredients are of their specific material. For example, quality quartz should only have 3 ingredients. Many lower quality quartz and importers add in fillers, which reduces the quality of the quartz and it doesn't perform like a quartz. Similarly, granites have a wide range of composition, which affects their durability, porosity, and the price. For solid surfaces, ask if it's acrylic or polymer, because that affects the brittleness and tensile strength of the product. Highly recommend examine the surface of the slab or countertop material before cutting and installing it. When it comes to divots, fissures, warping, or other surface defects, ask, is this an inherent characteristic of the product? Is there a workaround? Or does this even affect the quality? This inquiry is also going to be important as we move forward into the fabricator questions. Green guard, NSF for food prep. kosher, LEED, radon-free. The certification options go on, and they vary considerably from one manufacturer to another or from one surface to another. The importance of which countertop actually has these certifications is also going to vary based on your clients and the specific projects. I've heard quartz be described as something that could survive an atomic bomb. No surface is indestructible, but they can be very durable. Asking about the durability of a countertop material is important because it can vary dramatically from one surface to another. Durability includes the strength of the product for installation considerations and the resistance to stain, scratching, chipping, and heat, which we will cover these more in the maintenance questions as well. I recommend exercising your due diligence. Ask quality questions like these, and definitely request a specification sheet when they are available. The ingredients and chemical makeup of a material affects its porosity. The porosity determines scratch resistance, stain resistance, bacteria growth, and maintenance requirements. Therefore, each product requires different care and maintenance. Each maintenance question that we go into is going to lead you to the next maintenance question. Rather than ask, is it easy to clean? Because easy is relative to each person. Ask, how do I clean the countertop? Is it going to be simply with soap and water? Or are special chemicals or cleaners required? These questions are also going to be more relevant as we move into the client's lifestyle questions. Just as no countertop is indestructible, no countertop is 100% stain-proof. Some are more susceptible to staining than others. Find out what you need to do to protect your countertops. If it needs to be sealed, follow it up with 2 more questions. How often do I need to seal or reseal the countertop? And can I DIY it, or is a professional required? Many surfaces, it can become a Goldilocks and the 3 bears situation. You can seal it too much, too little, or just right. Make sure you know what you're getting into. I also recommend knowing what etches and stains the products. For example, you may not have considered shaving cream. It has a high oil content and can stain marbles and granites that have not been sealed properly. So know what will stain it. Even the most durable countertops can be scratched, and some more easily than others. Follow up the question, is it scratch resistant? With how do I repair the scratches? Sometimes the more scratch resistant, the tougher it is to repair the scratches. Varied climates affect countertop materials differently. For example, concrete and bamboo are not as sustainable in drier climates. Find out how the material is going to live in a specific environment. While some countertops are more heat resistant, none of them, except stainless steel, are impervious to thermal shock. Some may brown, yellow, or even crack. Consider your car. You would not purposely take a key and scratch it along the paint because it is an investment. Buying a countertop is also an investment. Why would you place a hot pan on your countertop investment? Recognize this when asking how heat affects the countertop. This is also going to be a good question. We'll follow up in the client section as well. Moving on to the topic that I am continuously told is a huge deciding factor with countertop selections, designs. Once you've determined the range of colors, designs, and customization options, you will need samples. More than asking if a sample is available, ask, how well does the sample represent the full slab design? This sample may be older, it may come from a different color batch. For quartz, granite, and other natural stones, there's going to be variance in veining and in color across the entire slab. Samples are a small, select cut of a 47 plus square foot slab or piece of material. That is definitely not representative of what you're really going to get. The characteristics and the designs are not all there. No matter how much your client loves surprises, this will be a surprise they will be happy about when they see the install that doesn't represent it. It's not uncommon for me to hear from specifiers that they've gotten the wrong sample or that the sample isn't the same as what was installed. Most recently, I had a designer tell me that she got the wrong sample because it didn't have green in it, and her client was really upset because there was green in her countertop. And when we pulled up the full picture of the slab, there absolutely was green in the design, just not where that sample was cut from. I always recommend viewing the full slab to get the full representation, as well as your selected cuts if it is a smaller piece than just the full slab before purchasing it. View it. There's more than just color and pattern to consider for design purposes. You need to know what sizes and thicknesses are available and if they are customizable. This is also the time to inquire about seams. Is the countertop seamless or not? As well, will the project require a seam to be put in it? That's often dictated by the size of the slab or the size of the material, the size of the project, or the layout. So find out about the seams. Seams are meant to be inconspicuous, not invisible. We will also go over this more in the fabrication section. The thickness affects the application, overhangs, full height flat backsplash, or if you want to extend to wall cladding or flooring. So ask what sizes and thicknesses are available. Other installation considerations. Can it be installed outdoors? Can the countertop work with an under or top mounted sink? What kind of cabinets are needed? Heavier materials like granite and concrete need a sturdier, stronger cabinet box. Let's talk money. Everybody loves some money. Like to save it, like to use it the best you can. At face value, surface materials range, some considerably more than others. When considering prices from one countertop material to another, and even within a category, you need to consider much more than square foot price. With this first question, how sustainable is the product? You're wanting to know how external surfaces are going to affect the beauty and the surface of your countertop. Is it sustainable? And ultimately, how soon are you going to need to replace the countertop? The investment and value is naturally increased the longer that you are able to have it. Along the same lines, you want to know how often and how you have to maintain or repair the countertop. There are costs associated with chip and crack repair, stain removal, buffing out scratches. The costs and how often they occur need to be considered as part of the full investment price. It's important to know more than just if there is a warranty on the countertop. You want to know how long the warranty is. Warranties vary from non-existent to a lifetime. You also want to know what's covered in the warranty. Does the manufacturer cover cracks, chip repair, or water damage? A lot of other things that could be covered. The more items which are under warranty, the more money that's going to be saved in the long run. This chart dissects the attributes, differences, and similarities of various countertop options. It answers several of the questions that we just explored. As I mentioned, each countertop option has its pros and cons. The winning choice is going to be influenced by these attributes, as well as fabricator questions and your client's input. Which brings us to identifying key questions to qualify fabricators and installers. Just as all countertops are not created equal, not all fabricators perform equally. Many fabricator facilities develop high-tech processes for fabrication, which help ensure excellent finished product when it's being installed. Not all fabricator shops are the same. How fabrication is performed in your part of the country varies based on other parts of the country. There are certain fabricators who actually use wonderful technologies and techniques, but they're going to vary from region to region and even within the state from shop to shop. It's important to understand how your fabricator is processing specific countertop materials for your projects because that's going to have an impact on how it looks and what is installed and the final result. With all the manufacturer's quality assurance checks and the time that you invest finding the right design for your client, at the end of the day, if the fabrication and install is subpar, the countertop is not going to look as good. Ask questions about their experience, their knowledge, and the equipment. This will help you find and develop a relationship with a quality fabricator, which will help ensure your client's satisfactions. Poor installation can result in unlevel countertops, cracks, gaps, and notable seams. You also want to know who is handling the installation portion of the project. You want to make sure that they are a trusted and reliable stone professional. Having the same fabricator as the installer also helps diminish blame passing and finger pointing if something does go wrong. Ask how many kitchen installs they average a month. This is going to help you gauge their knowledge, their efficiency, and their competency. Asking about kitchens specifically is just an additional qualifier. Kitchens have more space, they have more cutouts, they have more mitered edges or corners, they have more waterfalls, all of which show their experience, their skills, and their knowledge. For proof of the different types of installs and fabrication that they have done, ask for their references and portfolio. If clients ask this of you, why did you not ask your fabricator the same? This last question is not mandatory. In certain parts of the country, it's not necessary to know their memberships or accreditations. A lot of times it can just be a good to know and an added bonus. The answers to these experience questions and the fabricator's skills will impact the quality of the cutting, the polishing, and installing, including seams. As I mentioned earlier, seams are meant to be inconspicuous, not invisible. When a layout does require a seam, you want a fabricator who can provide a clean seam. This is another benefit of requesting pictures of previous projects because it affords you the opportunity to see how their seams look. Are they level and smooth, or are they messy? And knowledgeable fabricators will cut Euro seams to hide the lines. They will choose the best color-matched adhesive, and they'll use more than their guns to try to squeeze those countertop pieces together. They're going to use Gorilla grips or seam setters to ensure an accurate placement of the countertops. This leads us to the questions about equipment. All fabrication equipment ranges in safety, accuracy, and consistency. Leading fabricators and leading fabricator facilities use the latest technology and equipment, starting with electronic templating versus plywood or paper strips. When asking about their templating system, you want to hear electronic or laser templating. These systems improve accuracy, reduce errors, and eliminate the cutting of wallboard or grinding down product at the installation site. An extra bonus, laser templating connects to different systems like AutoCAD, which afford the opportunity for, it actually increases the efficiency, the aesthetic, and the economic layout by matching the veins, reducing the waste, and possibly bumping you into an added slab or additional material. This will also provide you and your client an extra quality assurance because you're going to be able to view the proposed layout of the veining matchup and you'll be able to sign off on it for approval, reducing surprises and the dreaded tear-outs. When asking about their cutting equipment, the options you want to hear are bridge saw, CNC machine, or water jet. Those are in the order of efficiency and ability. The fancier the equipment, the fancier the output. These better pieces of equipment are going to give you better edges. You'll have precise corners, elaborate inlays, and even detailed graphics. The better cutting equipment increases your yield, reduces costs, and ensures a better installed product. The natural follow-up question, what edges are you capable of creating? There's a variety of edge profiles available, from simple to numerous customizable with a variety of thicknesses depending on the type of material. You don't want your client to fall in love with an edge profile and then find out that your fabricator cannot deliver. Well, one way to test their confidence in their offering is to see if the fabricator will give you a tour of their facility. Ask them, can I tour your shop? If they refuse, go elsewhere. If you see a lot of dust in the air, especially if they are cutting stones, politely decline. Do not go in for your safety. For the quality product that you want, find a different fabricator. Beyond the basic, what different countertop options do you offer? You want to know what extended services the fabricators are offering. The first question is to ask if they pre-inspect their slabs or countertop materials. This is super important with quartz and natural stones. It relates back to the previous quality and surface defect question. If there are cracks or surface defects and they pre-inspect them, they can find them and either work around or return them and exchange them before they cut and install. Not only do you want to ask to have the opportunity to view the stone or the countertop material before you purchase it, you want to know if they own their material. This ensures that you will receive the piece that you have actually chosen and purchased. For stones, if the fabricator does not inventory the material, they will be able to direct you to a distribution center where you will be able to view the full slabs. Regardless if you are or are not buying plumbing from the fabricator, and especially if you do not have a GC on the job, you need to know who is doing the plumbing. You want to make sure that they are a plumbing professional or a licensed plumber. Lead time. This one speaks for itself, right? The one thing I will suggest is have 1 or 2 backup fabricators for those emergency jobs. In my market, it is not unheard of to have a 6-week lead time. Know the average in your market and set realistic expectations with yourself and with your clients. Asking about the fabricator's warranties is also especially important if you're looking at natural stone because they don't come with a manufacturer warranty.
Find out if the fabricator covers or repairs stains. Do they seal or reseal stone? How do they cover or handle damages to the countertop, and for what period of time?
As you may have experienced, quotes range from one fabricator to another. Consider multiple aspects to determine the value of the quote. Do not be fooled by low square foot costs. The quote may be higher if they use better equipment. It can also be less expensive because it's less time consuming for them to do vein matchup, fix problems, figure out the layout. In the quote, there may be upcharges for cutouts, edge profiles, sealers, etc. The customizations, product, and project size can affect the true square foot price. A fabricator's warranty also needs to be considered because, again, that increases the value of what you're getting. Please request a detailed invoice or quote to really compare the bottom line price. We've explained attributes of selected materials. We've selected questions to ask the manufacturer, and we have found qualifying questions for the fabricators and installers. Let's determine the key questions to ask your clients to help direct them in their selection process. The questions and answers from the products and the fabricators are also going to determine the questions that you ask your clients, or you ask yourself if you were working on your own personal project. These questions fall into 4 general categories: lifestyle, priorities, inclination, and investment. To successfully help your client explore the countertop options, you are inquiring, you are evaluating, and you are guiding them through their selection process. You are advisors, not order takers. The questions need to be open-ended. You gain much more intel when you ask, how can I provide you with better service? Versus, have you worked with a designer before? One benefit of this section is that the questions can also be used in evaluating other products and how they fit for your client, even outside of countertops. With all the characteristics of the different countertops, the end users and their families' lifestyles needs to be a top consideration. When gaining an understanding of how they'll be using the space, you're looking for more than a "for meals" answer. Of course, you need to know if they're going to be cooking in their kitchen regularly, or if this is going to be the most glorious kitchen you've designed and they always eat out, right? Are they bakers? Is there going to be heavy traffic from work or homework? Do they entertain frequently? For the bathrooms, do they spill their makeup? Are they messy shavers? Do they dye their hair at home? One of the best ways to discover these answers is to have your client walk you through their daily activities as it pertains to the space that you are helping them design. When it comes to maintenance tolerance, you need to help them be realistic and honest, because the answer for countertops can vary dramatically from daily upkeep to very low maintenance. Are they super clean, or are they mess tolerant? Do they not sweat a little bit of cleanup, or do they cry about water spots and have a breakdown because of stains? These are important questions to find out. How much effort will they put into the care and upkeep of their countertops, including minimizing damaging substances coming in contact? Or how will they be able to alter their potentially risky habits? For example, not putting hot pans on the countertop and using trivets instead. Before they fall in love with the material, you need to help them understand and fully assess the demands of living with the selected countertop and recognize their maintenance tolerance. Finding out who will also be using this space is going to be really important, especially if you've just determined their maintenance tolerance. If there are more people using this space who have a range of cooking and cleaning habits, who might need more instruction how to care, clean, or reduce damage to the countertop, for example, kids in the bathroom, teens making snacks, or guests of any caliber, they may want to consider a no stress or less maintenance countertop material option. Some spatial room requests are for aesthetic purposes. Large islands, type of sink that they're going to have, certain layouts. Now is the time to gauge their openness to change and flexibility regarding material options. Are they open to alternative options? How do they feel about mixing and matching? One material on the island, one material on the perimeter. Another consideration when looking at the space is any significant requirements for special needs, like allergies or an elderly person needing a more sturdy countertop, something that they might be able to lean on. as well as overhangs or counter depth, cabinet height or overhangs to accommodate for wheelchairs. Asking about their special space requirements will help you dig deeper than the general use inquiries, and it will pave the way toward the investment discussion. Okay, advisors, now is when your guidance skills will be put to the test. Each person has individual values and priorities. I like this example, which is a common thing you'll see in Colorado, where most residents love the outdoors. On any given good weather day, you are guaranteed to see a fella driving his or her beat up 1980 Datsun hatchback with their $10,000 rotor mountain bike mounted on top. It's not hard to know where their values lie and where their priorities are. For your clients, it might not be as obvious to you or even to them. It is important for you to help them clarify their priorities, what they value, and what they are willing to compromise on before you get into the next following segments of inclination and investment. After you've heard the requested completion date and possibly help them adjust some unrealistic ones, you're going to need to know and find out what external factor is dictating this time frame. For example, did they wait until the last minute to start the remodel of their kitchen before they are hosting their entire family for the holidays? You've had this, you know this one, yeah. What you've learned, they love to entertain. They don't want to be judged by others, and they are procrastinators, right? What you've also uncovered is this date concrete or is it flexible? If the project is a remodel, find out if they have lived in this residence. Will they be living in the residence after the project is completed? And if so, for how long do they plan to live there? You need to find out how vested they are in this place. Is this going to be their till next year home or their forever home? What is your pain point? This is a good question that you really should consider asking your clients. Most purchases, including a new home or a remodel, are emotionally based. Your goal is to understand your client's underlying emotional need for change and what main issue that they want solved, and then help them solve it as painlessly as possible. The natural progression from priorities is to learn what styles they like, their preferences, and why. It is important to go beyond what and discover why. Whether remodeling or starting with a blank slate, find out what they love or hate about the space that they are currently living in or using. Find out what they like and what they want to change about the space. Again, especially important to find out why. Not only does this help you gather more intel, it helps ensure your client that you care about their desires and what they want, and that you're just not going to be imposing your tastes on them. Back to the emotional influences. What mood are they trying to achieve? And what emotion do they want the room to elicit when they or their guests walk into the space? Find out what materials they like and go a step further to discover why they like a color, prefer a certain sink, or what influences their style. This is especially important for the design aficionados. You probably know these clients. They've hired you to do the design work, and then they start buying products on their own and start doing the job for you, right? Aesthetics are important, and functionality cannot be ignored. Asking why will help you go beyond their affinity for Carrera. They may tell you that they really like that simple and clean look. With a little bit more inquiry, you may discover they like a clean look, but they don't want to do the maintenance to keep it clean. Ask what materials speak to them and why. Budgets. They are something to be cognizant of. They should not be the main decision driver. Often, budget, it can just be your client's barrier, keeping you at bay, right? Once you begin to evaluate their lifestyles, their priorities, and their inclinations, you will know how to better help them find value in certain products. Matter of fact, I recommend not even using the term or bringing up budgets at all. Keep in mind, many clients have no clue or don't even know the price ranges for a kitchen remodel or a new kitchen. So to help avoid their sticker shock and your frustration with a low budget project, focus on investment and value versus price and budget. Strive to learn about their buying perspective, evaluation process, and spending tolerance. It starts by asking what is important to them and where their values lie. What do they value more? Is it quality, service, warranty, or just a good deal? A way to expand the investment and value conversation is by helping your client understand many variables affect the price of materials. For example, supply and demand, fabrication costs, size and layout. It opens the door to finding out if they have pre-made decisions or how open-minded they are to unexpected material options, which can help stretch their investment. Because you've already discovered what is important to them, where their values lie, you can help them avoid buyer's remorse, which happens when they buy something based on price only and they're not happy with it, or because they've overspent because they did not have sufficient information about their options. Uncover how flexible they are or preset they are about options. Now you have knowledge about countertop materials, fabrication, and how to determine your client's wants and needs. Gain their trust and build the relationship by continuing to educate them and set realistic expectations. Countertops, again, are not indestructible, and they are not easy or inexpensive to repair or replace, like curtains or paint. Considering the possible maintenance, staining or chipping, design and color trends, how long do they want or need to live with the countertop material? There is variance in shade, color, and design. Make sure your client understands this. Lighting can impact the tones, it can change them. Encourage your client to live with the sample in their home for several days, have them look at it in different areas of the room, different times of the day and night. If the sample passes the test, also encourage them to then go view the full slab when possible to avoid variance surprises. Discussing timeframes with your client entails two parts. One part is the decision process. Whether it is their time or paying you for your time, some materials are more time-consuming to find the right one than others. The second part is the project, including product availability, fabrication time, and the size of the project. Under-promise and over-deliver is my motto. Practice setting realistic expectations in these three areas, and you will minimize unhappy clients. Thank you for joining me and helping me with one of my goals by staying awake. I have armed you with an arsenal of key open-ended questions to help guide you and your client through the countertop selection and investment process. I challenge you to use at least one from each section on your next project. If you would like a refresher or you know anyone who would benefit from hearing about this topic, I will be conducting an NKBA webinar on January 24th at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Check the NKBA website for details. Also, I love to travel for other speaking engagements, motivational, CEUs, emceeing events. So if you have any inquiries or opportunities, please email me there. I really have enjoyed spending the time with you. I hope you'll have an awesome and super successful week at KVIZ and IBS. Thank you again for coming today.